Make me come in like an intruder. I give you a lesson of verbal combat with ill pen maneuvers. Subdue ya. When the spoon hit the teacup, you wake up. Welcome to my class. Just listen, don't speak. Visualize what you can't see. Call me the rap Bruce Lee. Wing tongue techniques. Let the flow creep like you deep that hasn't eaten for weeks. I've been fast no sleep, but y'all been sleeping on me like hoopers on New York Park benches. Homie, I never left the trenches. Plotting patiently and calm with my ears open listening to these culture vultures praising worldly sculptures. Man, they wearing skinny jeans and Maybelline. Dipping so much lean, they dying to reach their dreams. Run around like, hey, Miss Thing. I'm like, hey, yo, son, pass the crown to the king. You dig? Get your hair right, y'all doing it wrong. Boys make that beat, now that's a dope song. Get your game tight, homie, not your games. This is grown man rap. Get your sweet 16. Get your hair right, y'all doing it wrong. Boys make that beat, now that's a dope song. Get your game tight, homie, not your games. This is grown man rap. Get your sweet 16.
This is welcome everybody to episode 1 of My Brother's Keeper, where everybody speaks their truths, and when push comes to shove, we talk it out in brotherly love. We got Damon Paige.
What up, what up?
Cleaver.
DesSwoir Cleaver, what's up, what's up?
And brother Reggie Harris over here.
What up, baby? How y'all doing, baby?
All right, and we have, of course, you know, we're very versatile, all of us, and we're gonna be able to talk about so many different topics, but we have to stay with what's popping right now, what's really like the main topic, and start with George Floyd. You know, at this point, it's become bigger than George Floyd, but that's what we're gonna discuss today. So let's get right into it. We'll start from the beginning of the incident and talk about kind of what we all know about what happened prior to George Floyd even interacting with the police. And so from my understanding, in which we probably all know the same thing, and that's that he was in a store in Minneapolis, and paid for a pack of cigarettes with a counterfeit 20, and that's what led one of the employees of the store to call the police. Everybody else, is that where y'all at on that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we could just move right along from there, since we're all in agreement, but talking to Des earlier this week, I did find some things that to me were suspect. Not that their main issue, because the main issue is that we're going to talk about is a man being killed by the police.
Right.
And perspectives on that. But everybody knows, all four of us can probably agree, when you go in the store and they're checking for counterfeit 20s, that is normally done before the transaction. Am I correct?
This is correct.
Yes.
So to me, I'm not really understanding how he was able to pay for cigarettes with a counterfeit 20, leave the store, and then cops be called on him. Because normally he's not even going to be able to make that transaction because they're going to mark it and they're going to check and see this counterfeit. Is that such to anybody else?
Right, and so, I think that's the gap that I have. That's the problem that I have with that too, because you know, there's a lot of stuff that people are calling police for that police don't even need to be called for.
And that's one of them.
And that's one of them right there. You know, it's one of them type of things. Is like, okay, I mark the dollar and be like, hey, I can't sell this to you because this bill is counterfeit. And I've seen situations where that happened. You know, it's happened in the bank. I used to work at a bank, and people used to come in, and we ran the money and stuff like that, and we said, hey, this money is counterfeit. And they was like, oh my God, I did not know it was counterfeit. You know, most of the time, majority of the time, the people that possess the money don't know it was counterfeit. And even if they did, they have the right to be able to play like they don't know. So they have that right to be able to do that. And to me, you know, I think that's where I run into the biggest issue is that this brings into a much bigger issue, like, and we're not going to get into that today. I don't think we are, but you know, just like the thing that happened with the young man over the weekend in Atlanta.
Rashard Brooks.
You know, he was sleeping in his car. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you call the police man sleeping in his car? He's not disturbing the peace. He's not doing anything wrong. And that's why I feel like, as citizens, a lot of the shit that's going on as citizens, a lot of shit that's going on in society that we're involving police and that police are making bad decisions on, are on the blood is on the hands of the citizens that call, in my honest opinion.
I would just like to say, even though we call the policemen, that doesn't allow them to have any kind of reaction once they get there.
Right.
There's still criteria that they have to follow.
Right.
So the blood is on the person that caused it, no one else. Because I could make a call, but I promise you I didn't tell a cop to put somebody in a headlock, put their knee in their neck.
Right.
I've been reading about so many others since I heard we were doing this podcast, and I just had to stop. As a black man, I had to stop because I could not continue to just hear time after time after time, city after city in the United States.
Seriously.
In the United States, not across the country or the world, in the United States. They're making these horrible decisions and taking lives, and it's got to stop.
And we're all Damon, you want to chime in on that?
No, man, I totally agree, man, because I just look at it like, I think that's one of the reasons why yesterday I woke up in a funky mood, man, because it just keeps on happening. It's like, you know what I mean? Right now, we're protesting for our freedom. We're tired of this, right? But it's still happening. You know what I mean? In the wake of, come on, man. But in the process of it, there has been good things, I mean, per se, that's happened. Say with the Breonna law, the Breonna Taylor law passing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, if that happened. And what was the other thing? There was another thing that passes. Oh, where you, I think in New York, where you can't, a person can't call on somebody else and say because of their color, discrimination. Those things that happen. So, and it's not forget about all the monuments that causes division that's been taken down, the rebel flag. You know what I mean? So there's things happening. The momentum is going. It is going. At the same time, we gotta get rid of crooked ass cops, and that's all.
We'll
that's
dive
all it
into
is.
We'll dive into a lot of the things that have happened in the wake and following the incident. But I think, especially with the Rashad Brooks, I have yet to really dig into that. But I think it's important to, in everything that we do, truth is not relative. Truth is absolute. Right. And so we have to. It's important that we get all the details. Like for instance, another thing that's suspect to me, and like the cause of the incident. Well, we'll go to the cause of the incident. From what everybody can see, everybody can tell, even the police that were present, the other officers who were present, it didn't seem as if he was resisting arrest. Now, I did look back at the video just once again this morning, just to really check and clarify. Now, I did see towards the end where he dropped to the ground. There seems to be a little bit resistance, but still resistance in itself is not a means to die. It's not a cause to die.
And the reason why he was resisting, he asked them, he said, in the squad car, because now it came out that he was asking for a bigger vehicle, basically. Like he said, he get claustrophobic because he's 6'6", which is understandable. And the only thing they had to do was call for a van. You know, you got vans and stuff, and just wait outside. Like he was already in handcuffs. He let you handcuff him. So if a man allows you to
that's not resist.
It's not resisting.
Okay, there you go. I'm claustrophobic, and I don't want to get in the back of this little squad car because I'm 6'6", which most tall people do not sit in the back of cars anyway.
Nope. I can't.
Right?
I like the passenger seat.
Yeah.
I'm just 6'2".
I mean, but one thing that's really not an issue with, it was brought up, but it's not an issue, is his criminal history, because that has nothing to do with the situation at hand.
Fact.
But
it doesn't.
But
it really
just
doesn't.
as a matter of precedent, usually if you're having to be detained lawfully or unlawfully, there's not specific comforts that you can expect to come with that.
Right.
The comfort to live would be the only comfort that he would need.
That's the point.
Well, that's true. I mean, but the comfort of being able to stretch your legs and take a nap, that's not necessarily right. But
because they
still
did
not a
have
reason for the man to die.
Yeah, they did have him in the squad car. He was in there.
That's what confuses me. I don't know, man. It's just
They already had him in the
they had him in there.
Why they pulled him out of the car? Anybody know why?
To accommodate the fact that he was 6'6" and was claustrophobic. But where was the car at if that was the case?
Well, and how they end up on the ground with a knee on his neck. You know what I mean?
They called
Like,
the car, they called a bus. They called a bus is what they did. They didn't call no car to come take him. They called it a bus because they murdered the man.
Right. And the thing I noticed is also they didn't give the man, no kind of CPR, anything to resuscitate him. They just rolled him over on the gurney and took him away.
Right.
Took him
They
away.
checked his pulse. They even they checked his pulse. Once they did that, they didn't even say anything about that. They put him on the gurney and took him away. That killed me right there.
It was said already. Action. Right.
And the other part that got me too is when he was on the ground being choked, and he was like, "All right, man, I'm good." And then he was like, he screamed for his mama. I would never, as a black man, my most fearful and my most, scariest and most, hurtful situation. I've cried out for my mom plenty of times. And my mom, she's still alive, but I didn't want to call her and worry. When a black man call out to their mama, that's a prayer. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, whenever somebody does something like that, even I don't care who you are as a person. If somebody stole something from me and I'm beating the crap out of them and I hear them call for their mama or something like that, be like, man, please, 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 and they beg.
I gotta stop.
I would probably stop.
I gotta stop.
No, I know that man didn't had enough. I know he didn't had enough as a man.
Right, I'm going too far.
I agree. What do you think? What do y'all think about the lack of body cam footage? Like the one that was released that I saw, it was obviously edited. There was audio missing, and there were other people that were involved. Even George Floyd himself, I believe, they were blacked out. So what do y'all think about that?
Man, the body cam, that situation need to be pushed even more. You know what I'm saying? Because there's too many holes in it. And also, forget that. I think it's mandatory, for civilians like us, to get our own, get a dash cam. You know what I mean? Get a dash cam in the back.
That's the thing, yeah.
I'm getting mine next week, man. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. I'm like, you're not going to get me caught up. You know what I mean? Because, man, like you said, police can edit it. They can do what they want, take out whatever they need. Or they can get rid of it. They can destroy it themselves. If it wasn't for the public showed,
we would never know.
It would never know, bro. You know what I mean?
That's sad in and of itself. That's sad.
That's super
sad. But we've seen that since Kanika. They can play with footage. They can make you see what they want you to see.
On another, in which I hate to even mention something that I have not verified and done my due diligence, but I did see something that which there's a lot going on in Seattle right now, which we can touch on that later. But it seemed like with the technology we have, there's no reason why every law enforcement officer in the United States of America does not already have a body cam, and it's not already mandatory. I do agree with that. Right. But why Microsoft says that they will refuse to sell such equipment to law enforcement? Any thoughts on? And has anybody heard anything about that?
I think Microsoft will say they won't be held accountable in case it doesn't work or something like that, possibly. You know what I mean? That's my thing. That's my only idea. But my thing is, if they're able to have the body cam and all that good stuff, who controls it? Who controls the footage and whatnot? Be in the police department, or should it be a higher authority so they don't have access to it? That's what I think.
Party. That's good. That's good.
You know what I mean?
I think that's more than likely that's going to be something that's mentioned, in the coming weeks, months. Another follow-up to what happened. So now another thing. Now let's jump into the protests that followed the incident.
All right.
Because this usually, I think the majority of America, the world, are probably in the same place on the last two issues that we spoke on.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where I think the majority of America, they begin to split.
Right.
Anybody want to jump in on
I'd
that?
love to.
On the protest?
The protests and
so Reggie said something to me.
Movie.
Me and Reggie talked about something not too long ago, and Reggie said there's 3 parts of the protest. Would you say, Reggie? You say you have the protesters.
Yeah, the protesters.
You have the rioters,
mm-hmm.
and then you have the looters.
The looters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but to have a protest, so you need all 3. You know what I mean? You know, the protesters are the ones that keep the peace. You know what I mean? You know, the protesters are the ones who keep our agenda. The rioters are the young kids who set it off. You know what I mean? Who tired of it. They don't have to contain their energy. They don't have to contain what they're going through. And then the looters are the people who never had shit in the first place. You know what I mean? So you give them opportunity to get shit, they gonna get it. They gonna go get it. You know what I mean?
I got
not saying that now. Not saying that's a plus for them, but I understand.
Yeah, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? But we understand.
Yes.
Like Martin Luther King, that was his exact quote. He said that looting and rioting is a cry from the unheard.
Yes, sir.
Think about it. I think that's what people don't get. It's like if say for instance, and this is what I tell America, white America, and I'm gonna call out white America on this. If a Middle East
man, he was finna kill it too.
Man, Reggie, go ahead and get home, man.
Hey, he was about to go ham.
Yeah. So
you froze on us, man. You want to retrack all that.
All right. So hey, am I back now?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, and this is what I want them to think about. And I tell them just like this. I said, think about if America was under attack verbally by a Middle Eastern country. Threats, you know, mistreatment in trades, mistreatment in, you know, like say for instance, like, you know, whenever the American embargo went overseas somewhere and, you know, like, you know, this country kept bullying us. You know what I'm saying? Just talking all kind of crazy stuff. And the bullying just kept, and it wouldn't stop. So what would you do? How would you feel as an American? You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you get eventually tired if you kept warning them and you've been kept trying to go to the diplomatic table and be diplomatic? It's like America is good. They hate diplomacy because that's what they tried to get mad at President Obama. Everybody kept saying, "Oh, President Obama was weak because he wanted to go to the diplomacy table. Oh, we need war. We need to show these folks American strength, show them American pride, and all that BS." Oh, that was okay then. But when you get it back from yourselves from doing the exact same stuff that you accuse somebody else of doing, now it's not okay.
Now it's a problem.
That's what we got to get into the deeper rooted issue.
Right. What the Boston Tea Party? You know what I mean? They turned up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They threw goods in the water.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a situation here. Really happened a dude named James Dorner. Okay. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him.
James Dorner.
Dorner, right? Black sheriff, used to be military. That went out on to do a arrest warrant. His partner, white woman, started disrespecting the person that they was arrested, kicking him, punching him. So James Dorner goes to above his head, told him all the situation, fired him.
It's crazy. That's what happened with James Dorner.
No questions asked. Fired him. He tried to get three appeals to get him back to being a police officer. All of them denied. So James Dorner makes a manifesto, writes out to the LAPD that he is going to kill them and their families, and proceeds to do such. 1995-ish. Goes all through LA, runs up on 2 cops in a squad car, blasts them, kill them, go to another cop's house, kills the daughter, and he's on the run.
That was Christopher Dorner.
Christopher Dorner, yes.
Christopher Dorner?
Dorner, yes. goes and runs in. He on the run now in L.A. during this time in 1995. He runs to Big Bear. I think it was called. He goes to Big Bear Lake, and that's where 400 of LA's finest run up on him and turn him into Swiss cheese.
Yep.
Kill a cop. I mean,
400, at least 400, and turn him into Swiss cheese. Now, the LAPD did exactly what the black protesters are doing right now, except for the looting and except for the killing part.
Right.
Well, no, you can't exclude.
Just like the LAPD seen one of their own go down in murder, they went in droves to put that man to death.
You can't exclude and separate and say that there's not been killing and murdering going on during these protests, right?
It has been.
Now, to go back on the three parts of the protest, I have to disagree. A protest is a protest. Now, the three parts that we have that's going on, we have three parts of it. We have the protests, we have the rioters, and we have the looters. Now, the rioting and looting cannot be included or named in a peaceful protest because rioting nor looting is peaceful. Now, that shows it's a cultural thing. We have to go back to our culture. For years and years, for the longest time, we have been allowing, not checking the young man. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to be peaceful about it. Let our voices be heard. But you're not going to, hey, young man, get over here. You're not going to riot and burn down our neighborhood. This is our neighborhood. You're not targeting big corporate America or anything. You're not targeting. Yeah, there was a police station that was ran into, but we have to teach the young kids better. We can't excuse and say it's okay for to have a part of the riots to be or for the protests to become, the protest cannot become a riot. And I
don't think they're connecting them. They're connecting these things. But I never think the protests happen and then they get done and then the looting and rioting happen. They're separate entities that they're connecting. But all the way from Rodney King, Rodney King.
And that's why I said the three parts.
Yes,
there's three different parts. And I think
they come because I guess they are connected.
Yeah, there's three different parts to it.
You can have one without the other.
Yeah, even with Dr. King, when he died, when he got assassinated, it was a riot and looting went on then.
No, he was murdered.
Yeah, he was murdered. So
we like to say assassination because that lets you know that somebody thought about this evil plan. That's why we call assassination and not just murder.
Y'all do know y'all need to go to the kingcenter.org and y'all can look at the actual court documents at Dr. King when she sued the U.S. government.
Right.
And she won the case for 1 cent. But she did a civil lawsuit for 1 cent to prove that J. Edgar Hoover was behind her husband's death. And she won the case. And J. Edgar Hoover, like I was telling them, I said, but y'all, whenever we see FBI and see that building, and you wonder why we get mad, I said because a murderer murdered our greatest peacemaker, our greatest leader that we've ever had in the black community.
For sure.
Y'all, this guy's name is on the FBI building that murdered him. And there's also rumored around that he might have been behind the assassination of JFK.
You better believe it.
Right.
Who, you know, black people, we loved JFK too.
Like Bill Clinton, baby.
And y'all keep listening off. Now, I do have to come in and interject with this. The term y'all is being, or they is being used. We have got to stop connecting the actions of one person or even a certain group of people who we cannot claim all white people are bad, like all cops are bad.
1,000% agree.
Oh, that's a fact. I mean,
yeah, that's a fact.
It just so happens, you know what I'm saying, the track record is whack right now. You know what I'm saying?
When we say we or they talking about a discussion, we're talking about those that are doing it, not all of the same color.
Nah.
Okay.
That's what don't get misconstrued. We're talking about they are racist. We're talking about the racist, not all people in the world.
And and this is what I help my white friends understand when they come at me with that. I say, okay, when a woman come to me as a man and say, "Oh, men's are dogs," I never get mad because I don't fit into that.
For sure.
See, only thing I'm doing is right. She's speaking to the ones that in that category that have hurt her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I know that I don't fit into that.
She's talking about.
Right. So with me, on the other hand, I know that's not a personal attack on me. Or like, all y'all men just stupid. All y'all men just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, you know, and I ask questions, hey, what do we don't get? You know, and I become her ally because I'm listening to her. I'm hearing her out. You know, and then she tells me what she's seeing. And then I know, and then also I'm like, well, I agree because I know some dudes like that. And I'm gonna try my best not to be like that. And I'm also gonna encourage other dudes to stop being like that.
Right.
So, you know, now
being like that.
There you go. And that's why I get on my white friends. I'm having the hardest time understanding why y'all won't do that. It's simple. It's not that hard.
And that's
why they won't speak up.
It's just like I heard something earlier today. Like silence is not complicit. Silence is not complicit. We don't know what's going on in the hearts and minds of people. Silence could simply be, I'm processing. What's the best way to go about it? And then of course there's as you see now, the support in the white community during this time is showing that many who have been and continue to speak out against racism. And that's another thing. I think we need to call it what it is when it comes to the incident as a whole. Obviously, we have police brutality.
Right.
Now, to know the hearts and intents of that man, of course, we know that we can say and speaking hypotheticals and say, if it was a white man, would he have killed that white man? We can't speak hypothetical like that simply because there have been white men who have died at the hands of police brutally and unlawfully. And I got through all stats. I talked to Des earlier this week. I threw all stats out the window.
Right.
Yeah, there's stats that say that only 9 unarmed black men were killed last year at the hands of the police. 9, less than 1%. But can we trust those stats? Are those stats padded to fit a certain agenda?
But you can't get the eye test. You know what I mean? The last couple of people who saying the school shooters, white. What about the massacre? You know, say the guy went up there and shot up 8-9 people. You know, saying the black church, white.
Dylan Roof.
They didn't die. As a matter of fact, they get a burger and a bottle of water.
So
come on, man.
Let me come in like an intruder. I give you lads a lesson of verbal combat.